Well, as we know, we are currently in a transition period towards the latest version of Honkai Star Rail, which is version 3.6. And indeed, there's no new information available yet regarding the upcoming updates. So let's try to discuss a topic that has actually been asked of me for a long time through the comment section. Among all the available characters, which characters makes me regret choosing them? Yes, that's a question I get asked often. And as you can imagine, it wouldn't be complete if I just mentioned the character without giving various reasons, right? So, without further ado, I'm Hoyostation and let's get right into the video. Let's do this. Do you have a character or weapon in the game that you really want but you don't have enough stellar jades? Here's a smarter way to recharge your favorite games like Genshin Impact and Honkai Star Rail. Look no further than Lootbar. Lootbar is the most reliable top-up platform. It saves up to 23% for all orders compared with the official channel, and it provides an 80% off for your first purchase. It's 100% safe as you will only be using your UID. We will buy pack for 3000 stellar jades for $42, which otherwise would have costed $50. Totally saving $7.5. We received the crystals we purchased in the less than 3 minutes. All recharges will be done through the official channel with miHoyo, which allows you to enjoy all top-up offers. Ready to level up your gaming experience? Check the link in the description to get the amazing discount. Okay, before we get into the discussion in this video, I want to give a disclaimer at the beginning that the characters I mentioned in this video are purely my personal opinion. And of course, I have those characters. So, if there's a character I don't mention, it means either I don't have that character or I don't plan on pulling them, okay? Honestly, I've been playing this game for quite a while, guys, even since it was released. I naturally have a lot of limited characters in this game, and the first limited character I felt was a bit less worth getting is FEIXIAO. Well, I might summarize this character a bit for you. FEIXIAO is a relatively new character in Honkai Star Rail, having been released in version 2.5, which came out just a year ago. Actually, at the time of release, trust me, this character wasn't bad at all. As a single target enemy focused character, this character performs exceptionally well. She is even very compatible with some 4-star characters, such as Moza and March 7th Hunt. Of course, the easy combination of FEIXIAO with some free-to-play characters makes this character quite good to obtain, especially if you are a new player in need of a decent single-target character. So, the question is, why do I regret taking this character enough? Well, first, from FEIXIAO's own kit. Although FEIXIAO has a good single-target abilities, the damage she deals currently cannot keep up with characters released in the latest version. Additionally, single-target attacks are not very useful against most of the current content, which features a big number of enemies. Additionally, even though she excels in some content like Apocalyptic Shadow, this doesn't make her the queen of that content, because some characters, such as Finan, can easily outperform FEIXIAO, even though Finan is not a single-target focused character. Secondly, FEIXIAO doesn't have dedicated support for kits focused on single targets. To this day, there are many teams that have characters specifically created for a certain team. We can mention, for example, 3B for teams focused on scaling HP, Cedra for hyper-carried characters relying on skill, FEIXIAO released specifically for Super Break team, and so on. Then what about special support for FEIXIAO's kit? Yes, unfortunately, it's not available at the moment. Indeed, Robin is the ideal character to be FEIXIAO's support character. However, unfortunately, Robin's kit is too universal and not specifically enhance FEIXIAO's kit. Then for the final reason, which I think is the most impactful, is the emergence of Archer. Yes, this character, which is given out for free, has a performance that is arguably the same or even better than FEIXIAO. Especially since Archer is a free character, meaning everyone has this character, guys. Even though you don't currently have dedicated support for Archer, which is Sparkle, Archer still performs quite well. Plus, he's also a free-to-play friendly character, which is still very easy to use, especially for new players. Therefore, The arrival of Archer makes the reason for having FEIXIAO disappear, as there are already other better characters, and he can still be supported by the latest support character, SEELE. If we refer to the available data, the use of FEIXIAO in MOC or Apocalyptic Shadow is also quite small, only about 6%, which means her usage has been steadily declining since her release in 2.5. After FEIXIAO, we will discuss the second character that made me regret choosing them. Yes, that character is SEELE. Just like FEIXIAO, SEELE is actually a very strong single-target character in version 1.0. Yes, you heard right. This character was indeed very strong when the game was released. But what about now? Honestly, I don't even use this character anymore in any content. The strongest and simplest reason is damage output. SEELE cannot deal the same amount of damage as the current characters. In fact, Hoyoverse didn't even bother to revamp this character, and instead favored characters released after her, such as Blade, Kafka, Silverwolf, and Jingliu. Plus, SEELE's kit is already very outdated. She can only get extra turns when she can defeat enemies in battle, which means this effect is not significant enough when used in endgame modes like MOC or Apocalyptic Shadow. Also, just like some existing characters, SEELE also doesn't have special support that can increase the value of her kit. Unlike Blade, which have good synergy with some characters like Jade or Hyacinth who use her signature LC, or Kafka, who has good synergy with Black Swan and High Silence. SEELE doesn't have anything. Absolutely nothing. Even now, there are no plans from Hoyoverse to revamp this character. So if you are a new player, perhaps you should never choose this character because it's no longer worth it. So, how is this character used in endgame content? Well, that's sad. Almost no players use these characters anymore, whether in MOC or Apocalyptic Shadow. In fact, according to available data, her usage is even below 1%, meaning very few players still use her. Okay, now we will move on to the next character. The third character I should include in this video is a character named HENG. Honestly, I actually quite liked this character when he was released in version 1.3. He has a cool appearance, with a dragon appearing when he uses his basic attack and ultimate. Actually, his kit itself isn't bad either, because his kit can be well addressed with the presence of Sparkle in version 2.0. So, what makes me regret taking this character? Just like some of the character I have right now. Although he's an old character, HENG can actually still be used in some content, like MOC for example. However, the damage produced by this character is considered quite low. Plus, his kit uses too much SP, means he needs to be paired with Sparkle. Without Sparkle, this character will experience a significant drop in damage output. Therefore, this character is not free-to-play friendly, especially for new players at this time. Although HENG and Archer are quite similar in some ways, but they are also different guys. The main difference between them is the core kit they have. The damage output of Archer depends on skill, while HENG's depends on basic attacks. Archer's kit can be easily assisted by SEELE, the newest character. So what about HENG? Unfortunately, there's currently no support available for this character. This character has two problems. First, he doesn't deal enough damage. Second, he doesn't have enough support. Anyway, his fate is similar to SEELE's. Right now, almost no one uses this character in endgame content like MOC and Apocalyptic Shadow. This character is used much less than SEELE, only 0.07%. It's quite sad, isn't it? Okay, now we will move on to the next character. This character might be a bit controversial because I'm sure not everyone will like it. But honestly, based on my personal experience, I hardly ever use this character at all anymore. Yes, this character's name is AVENTURINE. Honestly, AVENTURINE actually has a good kit. I was doing well with this character even a few patches ago. However, since I pulled Hyacinth a while ago, AVENTURINE has started to lose his main sustain role in some of my favorite teams. Let's look at the Herta team. At first, I put AVENTURINE with this team because he has a strong shield and can attack in an area. This helps the Ruta team gain a lot of energy. But since Hyacinth came along, everything has changed. Although Hyacinth is a character who tends to be wasteful with SP, the damage she deals is significantly different compared to Aventurine. This means that teams using Hyacinth can ultimately produce better damage. I also replaced Aventurine with Hyacinth on the Acheron team. Hyacinth's Lightcon can quickly increase Acheron's/Dream stack. That's why this puts Aventurine in a tough spot. The most important thing to know is that I think Aventurine will become less popular in the future because of the new version of HENG that will be released in the upcoming patch. For those of you who don't know yet, this latest version of HENG is similar to Aventurine's in that it provides a thick shield to all allies. However, the most important difference between Aventurine and the latest version of HENG is that HENG can increase the attack of the targeted ally, which makes this character's abilities a mix of the preservation and harmony paths. If the rumor that this latest version of HENG will be free is true, then Aventurine's position will clearly get worse. This is because right now, all players, even those who play for free, already have characters that are better than Aventurine's for free. So in the future, HENG will take over for Aventurine. This means that fewer players will use and be interested in this character. Indeed, the use of Aventurine is still quite good at the moment. Of the 3 endgame content options available, Aventurine still accounts for approximately 20% across all 3, indicating that a small numbers of players are still using this character. And for the last character I will be discussing here, it's Firefly. Yes, Firefly. But compared to some of the characters I mentioned at the beginning, this is not as bad. To be honest, I'm not sure if I'm going to regret it for this character. What's the reason? As we know in previous versions, this character reached a level that could beat almost all the existing content. This character always provided bonuses for the Super Break team, making this team capable of easily completing even difficult content. But right now, everything is changing a lot. Yes, I understand that version changes should naturally lead to differences in the meta, but this is beyond what I expected. Super Break has completely lost its strength. When it comes to damage, it's already way behind some of the top teams, like Finance team, which can easily deal millions of damage. What about the Super Break team? Yes, the Super Break team's strategy is to first make the enemy enter a state called Weakness Broken. This is so that the team can deal significant damage to the enemy. Even so, they still did less damage than the team I mentioned earlier. The enemies are also get more resilient. As we know, the enemies we face in each version will become more difficult, with more HP and also more toughness to break. This is what made it hard for me to use this team for endgame content. Anyway, I have all the Super Break premium characters, but I'm not using them right now. I prefer other teams that are more suitable for the existing endgame buffs. Some examples are the Ruta team, Finance team, and Castro's team. Of course, I was disappointed and regretful about taking on this character. But I got some good news, guys. If you have a Super Break team, you might have heard that a support character for the Super Break team will be released in version 3.8. Her name is Constance the Dahlia. This character is said to be the latest dedicated support for Super Break, replacing Ranmei, who is a very universal support character. We don't know this information for sure yet, so we will just have to wait for her to arrive. That's all I have to say about characters that I regret pulling right now. What do you think, guys? Who is the character you think isn't worth pulling? Please type in the comments down below, and don't forget to check out my other videos because they are just as cool. Thanks for watching, stay safe, stay healthy, and see you in the next video.